Hello, and welcome to Starting Points, where one thing leads to another. Last time, I was sharing some of the writing of David Attenborough and also a book by Gerald Durrell was mentioned. And I wanted to follow that up just a little bit in that something rather unusual. David Attenborough's older brother was born in 1923. 1 year and 4 months later, Gerald Durrell was born. And 1 year, 4 months later, David Attenborough was born. Those three men, all born within 3 years of each other. So, we've been going to different countries, and in the process of this, sort of like an armchair travelogue, and we'll be to other places coming up. We'll be in China. We'll be in Australia. We'll be in parts of northern South America. But this time we're going to go to a place that's got 10 letters in its name. And it's Madagascar. And it's an easy word to spell, actually. Mad, a, Gascar. And in search of lemurs. And if you're searching for lemurs, you got to go to Madagascar unless you go to a zoo, because that's the only place they live in the wild. And this is My Days and Nights in a Madagascar Rainforest by Joyce A. Pausick. And I showed you another book by her earlier. I wasn't quite sure how to pronounce her last name. I'm still not quite sure, but I thought I'd at least take a try at it. And she is an artist as well as a naturalist. And so she goes with an eye of an artist, which is a curious eye. There, by the way, you might wonder what that is. That's a baby lemur. Now, this book was published by the National Geographic Society, and Joyce Pausick grew up in the United States, and she gives an introduction talks about when she was, ever since she was little, she's wanted to search the woods for animals near my family's home in the Adirondack Mountains in upstate New York. Now, this is a map of where she goes. She's a long way from upstate New York to go to Madagascar. Madagascar is on the east coast of Africa. And the part of Madagascar that's separated from Africa by the Mozambique Channel is the part where you'll find savanna lands, spiny desert, which is the brown color, and dry deciduous forests, which are the purple color. And on the east coast of Madagascar, which gets moisture brought in off the Indian Ocean, you'll find various kinds of mountain and rainforests. And where she'll be is right here in a national park, and the color there is low and mid-altitude rainforest. The high altitude is here in the north and here to the east of the capital. Now, I got a little curious about the size of this island. And I got curious because of what she wrote here. Lemurs can be as tiny as mice or as big as dogs. They live in both dry and wet habitats. And she's not going to be in a dry habitat. There are 32 known species of lemurs on the island. 11 species are found in this national park, where it rains most days of the year. We encountered 8 of them. So she encountered 8 of the 11. And that means that she missed 3. Well, there were some lemurs that were even thought to be extinct. Because how can you search all of this space and know? Especially rainforest areas, not easy to move through them, and then of course the lemurs could be moving. They could see you maybe and move to get out of your vision, out of your sight. They don't necessarily say, "Oh boy, some people, let's run up and say hi to them." So that's a side story about it. Well, I got thinking about how big this was, and I wanted to give some relative sizes, so I had to make a note to myself because I thought that was a great map. 5 states of Pennsylvania would fit into that area. So if you know how much there is to explore in Pennsylvania and you multiply it by 5 of those areas, that's how big Madagascar is. 3 1/4 Virginias could fit in that area. 22 Massachusetts. So imagine if you got a sense of how big Massachusetts is, 22 of them, that size, would equal the size of Madagascar. California, which is huge, and Florida together would make up that size. If you're in Canada, you might think of Saskatchewan, or the maritime provinces, Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, and PEI, and say it will take 5 of those to create a space as big as that, just to give you some relative sense of it. And then just recently I got thinking about islands. Gerald Durrell grew up on Corfu. How many Corfus would fit in it? 387. How many Prince Edward Islands? I've mentioned part of the maritime provinces. 104. You could fit 104 PEIs in there. So I've traveled around PEI, and well, 104 of these, whoa, no wonder that you might miss things. I live on Vancouver Island, and it's huge. And I've only seen maybe half of it. And 7 of them would be needed to fill up the same space that Madagascar does. So Joyce is in where it's wild, and I think that 9 and up would enjoy this book, and I enjoyed it. Now, if you're an adult, Gerald Durrell, the I and I. Now, the I was considered to be extinct. Nobody had seen it in ever so long, but it was found, and so I thought you might enjoy it. He found it in 1992, and he died in 1995. So not too long before he died. And I'm sure that was a thrill to him. Well, thank you for joining me. Until next time, bye for now.